Today, we're going to be talking about Hidden Agenda.
Jonathan Finn, you have committed crimes of such a depraved nature that this court has no alternative but to sentence you to death by lethal injection. This court is adjourned.
It's a psychological action adventure game where you play as detectives hunting down a serial killer known as the Trapper as he sets up booby traps for most of his victims. The game was made by Supermassive Games. You know Supermassive Games, right? The studio behind all the decision-making games where anyone and all characters can die, Until Dawn, The Quarry, Dark Pictures Anthology, most recently Directive 8020? No? Oh yeah, the ones behind Start the Party, PS3 move game. I'm joking, but I'm not joking. This is actually one of their first games they made. Moving on, I was looking into all their decision-based games and found out that Hidden Agenda went completely under my radar. It was made at a time when Sony was kind of pushing these PlayLink games. And what is a PlayLink game, you might ask? Well, it's actually a very interesting and good idea on the surface, but it does limit the target audience at the end. So PlayLink games are PlayStation 4 couch games that are playable without needing controllers for everyone. Everyone instead downloads the game app on their phone and uses their phone as the controller. This would limit the type of games that can be made, as you need to use a touchscreen as the main input device, and you also need to account for any lag that could happen using a cell phone over Wi-Fi as a controller. So nothing too fast-paced. It is a great idea for when you have a group of friends over, and not everyone has a PlayStation controller. Some games support up to 6 people, but the target audience is kind of narrow. It's like a party game for gamers, maybe non-gamers. I don't know. So to play Hidden Agenda, I had to download the app, the Hidden Agenda game app, from the Play Store, and I could not find it. I don't know if it was just me having an issue, but it looks like it's no longer on the App Store. I did find a website that still had it, so that worked. And I also found that the Amazon store has the app. Very weird. It's also kind of annoying that if you want to play the game single player, you still have to use your phone. There is no controller support. I think they could have added controller support just for single player. We'll get back to the app and what you can do with it, but it's a lot of swiping and tapping.
But I know the Trapper's set for execution in 48 hours.
So the main story is actually quite interesting. The killer, which they call the Trapper, is caught, but he claims that he was framed. And he claims it was someone who technically doesn't exist. I don't want to spoil too much, so I'll say it like that. And all of this surfaces days before he's supposed to be executed for his crimes. So you're on the clock, you got like 48 hours to solve this crime. There's not much time. The game has a story mode and a competitive mode. In story mode, you work together cooperatively, 1 to 2 players, to focus on and complete the main story. Hidden Agenda Competitive is where the game expands a bit more, and it's actually a pretty good idea. So it's the same story, but players earn points that can influence who makes the future decisions. And players can be secretly and randomly given a secret agenda of making something happen. You'll have to kind of convince the other players to make the decisions in your secret agenda so that you can get more points. This is another cool aspect of PlayLink and using your phone. Players in the same room can be given secret messages without anyone else knowing. Speaking of the phone app, you can use your phone to keep track of several things during the game. You have the plot, biography, ripples, and rules. The plot gives you key points on the events that took place. The biography section gives you information on all the characters. Ripples shows you all the choices and decisions made in the game. And the rules show you how the game works, including the competitive. The game has 3 parts, and after every part or chapter, there's a narrator that kind of fills you in that the chapter is over, time for a break, and we do a little recap.
That's the end of part 1. Check the logbook, fix yourself a drink, and hit the box when you're ready to move on.
And at first, it's kind of off-putting to hear the narrator talk, but after a while, it's kind of nice. It's actually a nice little break. You get a recap. If you're playing with a group of friends, it's a good time to go do something and come back.
And now, part 2 of Hidden Agenda.
The story isn't too long, which makes sense since you want to try and finish it in one sitting. I would say it's maybe like 2 to 3 hours long, depending on the play style of everybody and how fast they're playing. I do need to try this game with a group of friends to see how fun it really is, but it definitely seems like the same group of friends could play this story at least 3 times before getting bored. So Until Dawn came out first, and I would say Until Dawn does look better, but Hidden Agenda is still very good. Arguably, Hidden Agenda has a lot more environments and variation to work in, so it might have been a lot harder to polish up every single environment. Also, the story is shorter, but I would argue it's more complex, and there's more paths to take, so that it can be finished in a shorter amount of time, but there's a little bit more variation, maybe? Which is kind of a dope idea. I can't help but think some elements of this story were inspired by a certain crime show.
Apparently survived the orphanage fire.
So in conclusion, it's a pretty good game. The story's pretty good, the characters are good, lots of fun and great decisions, and all the main characters can die, even though you don't play technically as all of them. And I often find this game used for like $10. So if Hidden Agenda interests you, for that price, it's a must try. For me personally, it turned out to be a hidden gem. I talk about a bunch more games on my channel. I love to share my game room and my collecting, and I also post funny moments. So check out my other stuff. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you in the next one.
And you know, we tried to fight him the way you're supposed to fight him. We called the cops, 3rd Precinct, and nobody did a goddamn thing. Not even our own social worker. So once Adam got out of that hellhole, he figured out his own way to make them all pay. Those cops, he knew their beat. He timed every murder to the minute. He knew exactly who'd get the call and exactly what was waiting for him. Cops failed, parents failed, system failed. What would you do? You took out the people who hurt us.